Commence primary ignition.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
What a piece of junk.
Enterprise, this is the captain.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's all part of the plan.
Engage.
Welcome back to Podcast 2 for 1. I'm your host, Donovan Thompson, with my co-host,
Daniel Wingfield.
And today we are talking about What If, Marvel's Disney Plus animated TV show. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. That way you're up to date on all future episodes of Podcast 2 for 1, as well as all the good content we have at 2 for 1 Studios. And of course, we always recommend to consume it on YouTube. Yes, that's youtube.com/2 for 1 Studios. And lastly, we are brought to you by Kapow Comics, located on 4047 East Kill Avenue in Sherwood, Arkansas. There they have comic books, collectibles, graphic novels, and of course, special guest appearances throughout the year. Daniel, before we get into What If, because we got a few thoughts on that, real quick, I want to kind of touch base with you. What you've been watching, what you've been playing?
What have I been watching? What have I been playing? Okay, so my wife and I, we tried Foundation. And I just want to give, I remember I texted you and Travis. I was like, yeah, we're trying Foundation. It was like 30, 40 minutes later. I was like, and we're out. And I'm just so out. And, oh, man, visually gorgeous. Like, honestly, like...
expensive.
Yeah, and just visually just impressive. It looks beautiful. In the first 30 minutes, I feel like a lot of what we were seeing was just like space and like these like just big, wide shots of this like really cool shit. Yeah. And then we're following certain characters, but it was just like, man, like the writing and all this kind of stuff just felt so contrived and like it was just kind of boggling my mind how bad some of the lines were. Like there was this one character that was like following, I think one of the main girls. It seems to be, she's like the girl on the promo art, I think. And he's like telling her stuff, like being like, a character that's like providing expository information. And then at one point he's like, oh, and what are you? She's like, oh, I'm like a PhD and blah, 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 blah. And then like we have some scenes that come back and he's like, well, now that I know you better, I'm not going to tell you anything else. It's like basically the line. And then it just goes into this montage of stuff. And I was like, why is that line necessary? It was just, and like, I guess it's supposed to be some sort of like alternate telling of the fall of the Roman Empire.
Gotcha.
But there was like, yeah, man, it was just like there was three kings, dawn, day, and dusk, and they were all like different aged versions of the same person, and they spoke like they were in Shakespeare. It was just, and I just like we were in like again like 30, 40 minutes, and I was like, I have no idea who anyone really is, what the deal of this show is. Like you've introduced me to like 10 characters and I still have no interest in any of them or idea why I should care what they're doing. And so passed on that one. Instead, we started watching Sopranos again, trying to catch up because the Many Saints of Newark movie just came out. So my wife has not watched all of Sopranos, so I'm trying to catch back up with that with her. So watching Sopranos.
What you been playing?
So I was going to say, we also rewatched Interstellar last night, which was great. Again.
Like it.
It's a good movie. Been playing some Dragon Age Origins. Been dipping back into you can get that actually free if you have Game Pass through the EA Play partnership. So the entire Dragon Age trilogy is on there, which is cool. I've never played those. It kind of missed me somehow. And so I've been picking back up with that. I'm enjoying it a few hours in. Yeah, it's a pretty fun game. The graphics are a bit dated, but it kind of has that old BioWare magic. Reminds me of KOTOR a lot, which is one of my all-time faves. So, what about you? What have you been watching? What have you been playing?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, me and Katie talked about playing or watching Foundation, and then I heard your glowing review of it, and I was like, maybe not. And then I've always thought about playing Dragon Age, like Inquisition and Origins, all those games, because I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, but I think that, and I know I'm wrong, but I think I wouldn't enjoy it as much as Mass Effect just because it's not sci-fi. But I think I probably would if I gave it a shot. It's just I know that's a big commitment on my end.
I think you might have trouble with the combat a little bit. It's kind of like that KOTOR style where it's not real time, but it's kind of not. It's not turn-based. It's like you're telling them to do inputs and they're just kind of doing them over and over again. But it's not like you hit A for power attack and
Oh, yeah,
beef
I'm
or
out.
light attack kind of stuff. But I will say, like, at least with KOTOR, it's like Star Wars, and so you're watching yourself, like, have lightsabers. So like, there's still like it's still enjoyable because it's lightsabers. There's less so with this one, but yeah, I think that would be something you wouldn't like probably.
Yeah. Well, real quick, what I've been watching, besides movies, which we'll get into in a second, I just finished Ted Lasso season 2. I loved it. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's out officially, all the episodes. Great end of season 2. Really enjoyed it. And then I have been watching like everybody else in the world, Squid Game. Me and Katie finished it within about a week, a couple of days to a week, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought the story was really interesting. It's one of those things like you probably can guess some of the larger plot points, but the character interactions and just the emotional parts of it really got me. Katie was bawling during the whole show, and I just thought it was really fantastic, and I can't wait for a season 2 if season 2 happens. As far as what I've been playing, I've been playing a lot of Gears 5 multiplayer. So if you want, hit me up, D-Man Phoenix. I'll drop it in the comment or in the description below. Hit me up on there, and we'll squad up and we'll kill some Swarm or some COG together. I started Marvel's Avengers on Game Pass because it's on there now, which I think it's getting a second lifeline through Game Pass.
I mean, it's about time, right? Like it's been, it's the sales have been awful for months now.
Right.
Like the hype has been gone for a long time. Kind of people have been declaring it dead for a while.
Yeah, and I think it's probably the best place for it. I mean, just me playing it for about 3-4 hours, I'm really enjoying it. And I mean, it's kind of weird because you say Avengers, it should be there day one, but something about it, I just kind of stayed away from it, either from money, but I was always on my, like, I'm going to do this eventually. And I was kind of waiting for Spider-Man to drop on the PlayStation 5, but it was on Game Pass.
You can't argue with Game Pass.
Best deal in gaming, right? So I ended up playing it, and I was getting emotional in the first 30 minutes of it, just watching the cutscenes and just the interactions. And even with these people that don't look like the Marvel characters, I kind of broke away from that within the first 5 minutes, or the movie versions, because like I'm used to the comic books and the cartoons and all this stuff. So I was like, I don't care about that. It doesn't bother me. And I was having a great time because it can really tell that the people who made this game, they really care about the mythology of Marvel, and there's so many Easter eggs. I was having a great time with it, and I'm looking forward to going forward and probably replaying again on the PS5 so I can play as my boy Spidey. And then there was something else that I've been playing. Can't quite remember, but anyway, I'll think about it later.
There was one more thing I've been watching, which has just been out new. Is Star Trek Lower Decks season 2.
Oh yeah,
has been out right now. Yeah, so season 2's been going on. I think the last episode comes out this next Thursday of season 2. And man, what a great show! I mean, like, if you like old, like it's a adult animation comedy made for classic Trek fans, all more than it is for like the J.J. Abrams timeline, new stuff. So it's like always making homages and references to the old classics Trek stuff, just like constant. Like if you've really watched it, like I have, like it's just gold, like just constant, and it's really funny, really well done. Jack Quaid is one of the main characters from The Boys, and then I mean it's just very funny, very very like, and just honestly visually really well animated and like just really fucking cool. It kind of has a really like a slightly Rick and Morty style to everything, and then that mixing with science fiction just goes really well. So Star Trek Lower Decks, if you like Star Trek, I mean I think it's good probably anyway, but I know if you love Star Trek, it's really good.
Yeah, no, I saw the animation, and you're right. It kind of does remind me of like a little bit of Rick and Morty, a little bit of Family Guy. Is it kind of like a comedy at all, or is it really?
Oh yeah, total comedy. I mean, I think it's a comedy straight up. Yeah, so it's a spoof. It's making, but it is what's fun is they've declared it is canonical. Like everything that happens in the show is canon, which is really fun. But yeah, it's basically about this, like, the Cerritos, which is like this ship that gets put on like all the shitty jobs in Starfleet. Like they start their second contact. So like the Enterprise goes out and meets aliens for the first time, and they show up and have to do all the paperwork with them. Sure. It's like second contact. So it's like the shit job, the shit. And like hilarious. Even like the opening, the opening is one of the funniest parts because it's spoofing like those classic Star Trek openings, like flying by nebulas, and like it's like the ship getting like caught up in a storm and like running away from fights and like just all. It's really funny how they spoof everything. Yeah, man, good show. Really fun.
Question for you, a little off topic, kind of.
Sure.
Has Picard season 2 dropped yet, or is that later down the line?
No, I don't think it's come out. I think have they wrapped filming? I think they were doing. If they have, they may have wrapped 2 and gone straight into 3. I think is maybe what I've read. So they may actually be filming 3 right now while 2 is being edited. No, I don't think that's come out yet. And I'm like, I was very disappointed in Picard season 1, and I'm like,
yeah, me too.
I'm gonna watch season 2 because it's Patrick Stewart in Picard, and I'm just honestly just like that 1% of hope that they get better, that it improves. But my hopes are not very high. So.
Yeah, I probably won't watch it, unfortunately, just because I didn't get past the first few episodes of season 1, and I was pretty stoked for it. It's just, and especially hearing where they kind of ended up with it, I was like, man, I just do not want to watch this. It's just not my kind of ending for a character or a beginning.
Yeah. No, it really is. It's like they tried to force so much like emotional stakes into it that didn't work at all, and then like obviously they have to have like universe ending stakes because
sure
we don't know how to tell a good story unless we're ending the universe apparently. So
yeah. See, there's a thing that creators need to understand is that every individual has their own universe, and that's just as impactful trying to end that as the larger universe.
Yeah, so. And I much wish this had been just like a personal journey for Picard instead of trying to bring all these new characters in and
all the old ones.
Yeah, and some of them worked, some of them did not. I did not think Jerry Ryan's 7 of 9 came off very well, but I did like Riker and Diana's when they were there. That was a pretty good episode. I'll give it that. But yeah, I'm really hopeful that they'll just tell a better story. Like, it doesn't even have to like blow my socks off. Just don't be so cliche and like predictable and also boring in how cliche and predictable it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, dang. Well, real quick, I do want to talk about the Halo Infinite flight test thing. I don't know what it's called.
Beta.
Here in a minute.
Whatever.
Yeah, the beta thingy. But I real quick want to give the viewers my Venom Let There Be Carnage review. It will be very quick. Typically we have an episode dedicated to this or baby cast, but it's just my thoughts on it are kind of are minuscule at best.
And to be honest, I'm having a hard time finding motivation to watch it after all these, especially after the back and forth you and Travis had about it, how disappointing it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's things about it I enjoy. I know Matt watched it with me and a few others. Matt walked away liking it better than the first one and really liking Carnage in it. And I'll say that I do enjoy Carnage in it. I enjoy Woody Harrelson and that kind of stuff, but like just stepping back at it, trying to not just enjoy it for what it is, but trying to look at it like, hey, here's a movie. Here's what they're doing with these characters. I just don't enjoy the direction that Venom is taking with like the dual buddy cop love. Like they're almost like in love and they're fighting like a couple. It's just not my thing. And also there's so many plot things that just aren't very well thought out. And it's always bad again when people like me and Travis are sitting there within 5 minutes of a text thread. We've already have more coherent plot ideas that are subtle changes that would have made, even 5-10% better the movie. And when you can make a movie 5 to 10% better in less than 5 to 10 minutes through text messages, there's a problem there. And it's just kind of a little disheartening. I will say this, and this is spoilers for you, Daniel, which I don't think
I've already looked up what this scene is.
Sure. So the biggest thing that will kind of tie into our final conversation today, which is what if, is that Venom and Tom Hardy / Eddie Brock are on the run at the end, and they're in Costa Rica or some beach, and they basically zapped from their universe into looks like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where we're taken to the moment where Spidey is outed by J. Jonah Jameson at the end of Far From Home. And it's kind of a big deal. It's like, oh, wait, there's Tom Holland Spider-Man, and now Venom's in the same universe. So it does kind of bring up some questions. Hey, is Venom, is he officially in the MCU now? Is he just in the MCU? Is he going to be in No Way Home? I mean, there's some interesting things going on. but I don't even know. I don't know.
I think there's a good chance he will, but I think he might be one of the end credits stingers. To be honest, I don't think he'll be a major player in it. If he is, that'll be honestly pretty disappointing.
I told you, or Travis, or both of you, like, I would love to sit down with Kevin Feige and just say, Kevin, you can tell me, I won't tell a soul. Nobody else will know this. How do you really feel about Venom being like this? Venom being in the MCU? Because it's what's weird is Kevin Feige, he had a larger and larger role through the Raimi movies. And I was just on YouTube last night, and I ended up finding a video where they're talking about like Spider-Man 3 Venom, like behind the scenes. And Kevin Feige is a huge part in the video. Like, he's talking about bringing Venom to life in Spider-Man 3. Like, he was a part of the process. And it's like, you can tell he likes the character. Like, he gets the character.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just like, man. And I personally still think, I just put basically a poll out on Facebook a minute ago. Like, hey, I think Spider-Man 3 Venom is better than these two other Venom movies we had Tom Hardy. And people are like, it seems like they're agreeing with me for the most part. And it's like with Spider-Man 3 Venom, it was an attempt to be faithful to a lot, even to like, I mean, it was like very similar to even how the 90s cartoon portrayed the Venom story. Like, almost like the bell tower. Yeah, which is all comics.
That Peter gets the symbiote suit off. All that stuff like was much, much more close to comics. And honestly, the biggest part of Spider-Man 3 had not as much to do with Venom as it did with everything else going on with that plot.
Sure.
That was just bonkers. That to me, and honestly, trying to balance Venom and, Harry's Goblin and Sandman. Right. I think they were just trying to do too much. But Venom itself, like, I liked how it looked. I liked Peter in the black suit because Spidey black suit is just fucking sexy. You know what I mean? Like right. Those are all good things. And I enjoy still like those images, seeing that on screen like a cinematic way. It's awesome. It's just like, how we got there and how it all came together was just a fucking mess. It seems my feeling with this new Venom is that it's just like the direction they're going just feels so out of nowhere almost. Like, I mean, I guess they're going like this super grungy, like edgelord Venom. You know what I mean? Where he's like, where he's just like, yeah, I say whatever the fuck I want because, like, I'm gonna like, it's just like, what, why do we have to have Venom be like this, too cool for school, should be wearing a leather jacket and like, a studded belt. You know what I mean? It just feels like Venom is cool. We don't need to do this to him. This makes him actually less cool. It makes me take him less seriously because it's just like, this is annoying. You're acting like a 14-year-old kid at an emo show. You know what I mean? Like, start hardcore dancing in the mosh pit. Okay, Venom.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we will. Maybe one day I'll force you to watch Venom 1 and 2 with me like I did Aquaman and Shazam.
Yeah, it will have to be under the influence of certain chemicals and
that's fine.
Drinks or something. I'd say that'll be the way we do it.
I'll get us some Larry's Pizza and you can do whatever you need to do to get you there. But one thing that just a little fun fact, the reason why they didn't go like full comic accurate black suit in Spider-Man 3, I learned this last night. And like they did tests, like there's images of like perfect comic book accurate black suit, which like makes me almost cream my pants. But the reason they didn't is because they were afraid it looked like too leather, like sexual, like BDSM kind of stuff.
Probably did.
And I was like, such a stupid reason because like,
BDSM is much more in vogue nowadays. Like nowadays, it would be seen as a plus. Be like, oh great, yes, this is great.
Anyway, kids, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. If you enjoyed the first one, you're going to enjoy this one. Like I was sitting in the theater and people were laughing at the jokes. And I was just sitting there like getting mad that people were laughing at the jokes. And I chuckled a couple times, but it was frustrating.
I feel like these movies were made for the same audience as like Fast and Furious.
Don't you say that? Don't say
like
that.
You know what I mean? But
I like
maybe
Fast
worse.
And Furious.
But maybe worse.
It's not the same. I don't know what it seems like. It's made for people who like, and I love fart jokes, but like I can't explain it. It's like people who love. I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's the way. I mean, even just from the trailers, like the style of the trailers and everything about it, it just seems so unappealing. So just try hard, just trying to be cool, and therefore not being cool at all. And
Let's
it
not
sucks
lump
because
it.
Tom Hardy is a great actor and could be a
Yeah.
great Eddie Brock if they didn't make him like this stuttering, like kind of like hyper, like anxious guy or whatever that he seems to be in like the movie, like where he's like, I guess, I don't know, he just doesn't seem like he's not the Eddie Brock of the comics. And like, I mean, Topher Grace wasn't great either, but
He was
I don't
much closer. I mean, like if you just put Tom Hardy's body into like and swap it with Topher Grace, but have the same Venom and like a similar
Yeah.
look to the Hardy movies, fine, it's perfect. Like
Yeah.
it's close enough. And I do wonder though if it seems less and less that Marvel will get the Spidey rights back. I don't know, but I do wonder if they'll do their own Venom someday, like a separate Venom. Like this is our MCU verse Venom. I don't know. I'd love to, but
I mean, I think Sony would hate it because everyone would be like, the online discourse would be like, wow, Marvel once again just like makes Sony look like a fucking idiot with how well they do the characters that Sony tries to do.
yeah, I just
But-
don't get it, man. It's just the decisions that are made in those rooms are just baffling
Well,
to me.
and I know that Mummy said, like, I guess Venom goes to a rave in this one.
Yes.
I really do believe the same person that thought Spider-Man should do like the mud run when those leaked emails came out from North Korea,
Yeah.
that's the same guy that said do a rave. And like it came down from the top and he was like, hey, Andy Serkis, like, but what if he went to a rave? You know what I mean?
And that's what's mind blowing to me too, is that
Oh
like
my
Andy
God.
Serkis made this movie, and like
I know.
yeah,
I agree.
I mean, granted, he's not like an accomplished director or anything, but he's been around for a while now, and
You think
I mean,
he'd do a better like monster-ish movie? I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like,
no,
and
it's disappointing.
I kind of really thought about it, and like the cinematography, and that kind of stuff. I need to watch it again. Maybe I'll like it better a second
you?
time.
Dude,
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. It's my fault these movies keep being fucking made because I show up day one.
it is.
It has the record for the like since the pandemic started before $90 million opening
Yeah.
weekend. It beat
I think that has more to do
Shang-Chi
with just like
and Black
it
Widow.
beat Shang-Chi. Yeah,
It's wild. It's wild. I don't
It's
get
wild.
it.
I don't
I
know.
don't get it.
I mean, I guess it is
Anyway.
a Spider-Man property. It's going to be more widely recognizable than Shang-Chi, but I don't know. Yeah.
I guess so. Anyway, watch it. Don't watch it. Let me know in the comments below. Daniel, I know you and I both. You got 2 doses of it. I got the final, most recent dose. How are you feeling after doing the test flight for Halo Infinite?
Man, I think I'm more positive on this game than I've ever been. I'm more excited for it.
Right.
Like I know I've been excited for it in theory, but like actually playing it, my God, man. And I think what to me is such like a good sign is that we're having these like really positive play sessions and we're still like 2 months from release. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like yes, it was delayed a year, but it doesn't feel like it's hot off the press. It feels like they had the time they needed to do it right. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like you get these quality of play tests this well amount of time before. Maybe the campaign's coming hot off the press. I think that's very likely, depending on if they did a lot of story changes in the last year, which seems probable with how many position changes they've had there, or leadership changes. But man, this game feels like classic Halo in every way that it should.
Right.
I think we've talked about the sound design. It just is a joy to listen to.
That's crazy.
Just how the physics feel as you're grappling up stuff. If you're launching your fucking hook shot thing to grapple a person or a vehicle or up to a ledge or something, it just feels modern. It feels new. It does not feel like old Halo, but at the same time, I'm getting those like same nostalgic feelings of like the physics playground and just like you never know what's going to happen and crazy shit's happening all over the battlefield kind of feelings from Halo, where it was just like that was the fun of Halo. Halo was like getting in the Banshee on Blood Gulch or like flying up to the tall tower things that you really weren't supposed to get on, but if you dropped out just right, you could get up there with a sniper rifle and snipe people. Like just doing whatever you wanted. It was just like this playground, this sandbox, and that's what this felt like. It just felt like I never know what's going to happen. but like it's all just a blast and feels so good to play.
Yeah. Question. I mean, first of all, I echo all the things you just said. I thought I keep going back to the sound design. I didn't have headphones on. I just
Really
had my
impressive.
TV, but even with no headphones on, I was like just kind of blown away by the impact that each individual gun or movement had. And it felt like, man, this just feels good. The gameplay felt good. It felt tight. And even hearing the music at the opening, when you're in the menu, I was like, fuck yeah, we're back. Here's Halo. Like I was never like, I played Halo 5 a little later than others, but I've always been like, this Halo 5 is not bad. Like, I think the gameplay is great. Halo 4, I really enjoyed. It peaked with 3, but I'm still on the ride here. And it seems like they're going to go back to like basics here. And if they can stick the landing like Halo 1 through 3 did in terms of story, in my mind, they've already nailed the multiplayer. If they can stick the campaign, this could be like game of the year. It could be something we talk about for a while now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it could take over, it could retake its spot, right?
Right.
Like back on that multiplayer throne, like especially because it's free.
Sure. Free to
play. That's like, I think that's the thing too. You think about like, it feels like the multiplayer is going to take over. Like that seems like a done deal almost now because how good it is and feels and how free it is. Like it's it's going to Fortnite. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think you're right. If the campaign can come through and it can feel kind of like that classic, like just a tight, fun sci-fi story that isn't trying to be too complicated or too convoluted and just like is, almost like that classic Halo 1 feel, or I think Halo 3 too. Both of those stories just felt like just a classic kind of 8 to 10 hour, sci-fi romp and just all this stuff. And like, that's what we need again. And if they can nail that, I think you're right. I think it could become like, it's being talked about with the Call of Duties and the Battlefields and also it seems like the way they're doing multiplayer is going to be kind of continuously added on to. Like there kind of feels like they're going to be approaching it like Fortnite, where like they do seasons and add maps and add game modes and like keeping it fresh,
Yeah, that you brought up an interesting thing there by dropping multiple different franchises. And one thing that all have in common that I think is even like me playing Gears 5, they always have new skins every couple of weeks, right? And you can pay for them, you can potentially unlock them. They even have some Halo skins in Gears 5. Super Smash Brothers just announced Sora from Kingdom Hearts as their final DLC character from a different franchise. Fortnite has been infamous now for having every IP ever inside their game.
I've got the Tumbler Batman vehicle on Fortnite, and I've got the classic 89 Batman vehicle. Or not Fortnite, on Rocket League. Yeah, I've got both of those. They're awesome.
Well, do you think that, and like, I've even seen Call of Duty do this a little bit, like with bringing like John McClane from Die Hard and Rambo from Rambo. Do you think Halo could do we're going to start incorporating other franchise characters, but with the Halo package, like the Halo gameplay? You could be Mario.
I think they'll do it in their way, which is like probably skins and like color themes or like banners, like your player banner. You know how you can swap those out, like the background on your name or something like that. I mean, I hope they don't go too crazy. I hope you're not like able to like, be Iron Man in the game or something like in Fortnite. Fortnite feels like it just pours itself out to everyone, so it's like it doesn't matter if you're in Fortnite, everyone's in Fortnite. Like, it was cool when they had like Thanos in there and stuff, but it's like, but they've had everything in Fortnite, Rick and Morty, like everything. And so it feels like, I don't want it to feel like that. I want it to feel like it's still Halo and it feels like Halo and we're seeing a certain level of in-universe realism, I guess. But of course, I'm sure they will have like I said, the banners or like a color scheme or like maybe those like tags or something that you can do to do that, all that kind of stuff. I mean, my hope is that it's more along the lines of like new maps. Like I would love it eventually if like every Halo map basically we've ever had in multiplayer makes its way into like Halo. I know it's in like, it'll be in Master Chief or Halo Waypoint, but it like makes it into Infinite, like as an Infinite map, like remastered and stuff like that. Like, or at least like the classic favorites, you know what I mean? or, like doing different events where there's different game modes available. I mean, I would assume eventually we're going to get a battle royale legitimately. I mean, like Halo seems like kind of perfect for it in so many ways already.
I think it's been leaked, right? Like it's leaked.
Yeah, there's been. I mean, they had that classic line where they're like, the only battle royale in Halo is a battle rifle, or the only BR in Halo is a battle rifle. But that was like the last guy that got let go. So I think. But
Can
I
you,
think
like explain to me real quick what like battle royale means.
Battle royale is you're dropped onto a map and it's last man standing. Typically, I mean that's basically what's going to be. So you're going to usually pick up all your equipment on the map. Maybe they'll drop you like the Halo pistol or something, and then it's just like last man standing on a big open like kind of sandbox. And typically with most battle royales, they had kind of a shrinking play zone.
Sure.
So it's like here, this circle, and if you're outside the circle after a certain time, you like get hurt until you die, and so like it shrinks and shrinks, and so it forces the players to like stay, like come together and fight and finish the game. Like PUBG or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
That's typically.
So
yeah.
Why wouldn't they though? It seems like, I mean,
I mean,
I don't know why you wouldn't. Is it a bad thing? I mean.
No, I think there's a certain number. I mean, I think for one, Halo's kind of that classic like Quake, Doom style, like or like Quake, Unreal Tournament arena shooter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got a high TTK, so time to kill, right? Like it takes a lot of bullets to kill you in Halo versus like a Call of Duty, which in like 2 seconds you can die. You know what I mean? Before you even see someone, you're dead.
Right.
And so like, and it's kind of a slower, like you're a bit more floaty and jumpy versus like super twitchy, you know what I mean, with like Call of Duty. And so I think there's a certain segment of the audience that prefers that. And I think there is a certain level of kind of like rolling our eyes at the next battle royale because it has saturated the market so much in the last 4 years since it's become a thing. It's like how many battle royales exist now? There's like, probably over 50, you know what I mean? And like, we feel like we're constantly getting the next company trying to do their next battle royale, whether it's Apex Legends or whatever it is, or that one that Ubisoft came out with that no one played. And so I think it's just like, they don't want just like Halo to follow the trends. They want it to be themselves. But I think for me, it's like, why not both? You know what I mean? We're obviously getting the great arena gameplay. We're getting the tight. I got to play the 4v4 stuff that was earlier in a couple weeks in before. And that was really fun too. Just, it felt fun. I could tell that like if you get a squad of 4, that's going to be fucking awesome. Like just some four guys on headsets playing that. Like that's something you could do for hours on end, And then also like, the big team battle is 12v12 and you can actually have a 12-person party if you had 12 friends or like 11 friends. So like you could like get a bunch of friends together and like play like that. And that would be freaking awesome, you know what I mean? Like that sounds amazing. Awesome. So it's like I think just have both. You know what I mean? Like, I just want both.
No, I agree. I don't see an issue with options. I really do hope now we have like a pretty early on a big squad, that we can hop on any night and be like, hey, where are we going tonight? Yeah,
exactly. No, yeah, like it's definitely like that, and that's like my memories of Halo is like getting with a friend, whether it's online or someone coming over and us playing split screen online, and like getting a pizza and like playing like all like for hours on end. And just like, and I remember like I got pretty good at like Halo 2 and 3 online multiplayer. So like we'd win a lot, and like when you're getting like on win streaks and like feel like you're doing really well, like it's like addicting. And I was not fantastic, but I did feel like I kind of fairly quickly kind of fell back into like it felt like getting like riding a bike again, kind of playing a Halo style game again, picking up. I did love the whole like it felt like classic that you had to pick up the weapons on the map. So like picking up a needler or picking up a battle rifle like felt very significant because it like gave you a big advantage. But at the same time, like the assault rifle felt formidable, and I was like doing kind of like burst sprays across the map and like doing some good damage and even killing some guys sometimes like that. And like of course like the grenades, the sticky grenades, or like the other like the little long ones, I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, it just felt like there were so many utilities on the map to use, and then the power-ups, right? Like the deployable shield, the grapple. I think there was another one. Like that reminded me of like Halo 3 with all the items you can pick up, the bubble shield you could get, or that like blue
I really
zappy
wish
thing.
the bubble shield was back. I like the shield. It's just not as cool. The bubble shield just looks cool.
It was, yeah, no, it does look really, and it feels almost like a little more futuristic because it's like a complete bubble. But I guess you can't shoot out of it, so I guess there's pros and cons. But like, yeah, it just felt like every time I'm spawning, like even if like the guys are better than me, I feel like I have the utilities on the map to outthink them, even if they can shoot faster than me or like they know the map better than me or something like that. You know what I mean? I think that's what. And I do like the whole, like, it takes longer to kill someone. Like, if someone starts shooting you, it's not the end of the world in Halo. If someone sees you first, you can, find cover or turn around. And if you get a more powerful weapon, or if you're just a better shot, you can take someone else out that saw you first. And that feels like it's more about skill than it is about, oh, well, I saw the person first, so like I just unload a clip and they're dead. Like, and that's how like Call of Duty feels to me. Like when I play Call of Duty, it just feels like so sweaty and try hard and like just twitchy. That's like, it just matters who sees each other first. Like it does, you have no time to react once you've been starting to be shot. And so it's like, I don't know. It just reminded me like, oh yeah, this is Halo. It's like, I think I've used this in different contexts before, but it's like that in Hook. I'm like, oh, there you are, Halo. You know what I mean? Like the little kid, like putting the smile on Master Chief's face. I'm just like, there you are.
You should make that meme. It will go places. That's a great meme. You should throw it in Reddit.
Yeah, I just need to like Photoshop Master Chief onto Peter's head. Yeah,
that'd be fantastic. No, it's great. I look forward to it. I think it drops December 8th, and I will definitely be powering through it. The campaign, I'll be on multiplayer probably every night, but I will definitely be going through the campaign pretty hard.
I mean, fast. The campaign for me was always too, like, playing through the campaign always felt so much better at multiplayer when I got to it after the campaign. It feels like sometimes campaign just feels like here's like the long multiplayer tutorial. So
sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, it's still way around for me. I mean, I'm there for the story. Like, I want to see.
Oh yeah, no,
what badass thing is Master Chief going to do this time? That's what I want to see. So
yeah, and I am interested in the kind of semi-open world idea, like that maybe have some hints of Far Cry to it. Like kind of with the gameplay. I think that's interesting. I'm excited to see what that's like.
Man, you really need to play 4 and 5. Like again, I would go through them with you anytime because I like a small refresh, and they're really fun. They're really good co-op games. They're really good.
Yeah, I got a significant way through 4, but I don't think I ever finished it. But yeah,
it's got a good ending to it. 4 is pretty good actually. It's got a good emotional ending to it. Yeah. 5 is a little different. But let's talk about the main topic of the show today.
Sure.
Let's talk about What If. Now, I believe we talked about the first 3 episodes a couple of weeks ago. And now we have seen the whole picture, the whole season 1 arc here. And we're kind of running out of time, but I do want to get into what's your favorite episode, what's your least favorite, what worked, what didn't. And I kind of want to talk about what's this mean for the larger MCU, if it has any meaning at all.
So I think overall the show is good. I think it is a couple steps back from being amazing. I think it just had enough kind of dud episodes, or just episodes that just were a little bit forgettable to me, that I wouldn't say it's like essential almost. Like so far I'm like, what if you don't watch What If, what are you missing? I mean, so far we don't know of anything that's going to directly impact the movie universes. Like, I mean, I could see us eventually having a live action Watcher appearance potentially. But beyond that, like, I'm not really sure. But I think, the best episodes for me are the one that took the short format and used that to its advantage with the storytelling. Didn't try to be too broad or tell too complicated of a story. And I mean, my favorite one had to be the Doctor Strange one. What if the Doctor lost his heart? I think it was dark, and it was foreboding, and it was just really, again, like they used the format well to tell a story. I mean, they were kind of in the same places. There was only really 2 or 3 main locations for the whole episode. And then Doctor Strange is continually trying different things to change the outcome of the car crash or whatever. And I just feel like it just worked really well. Like that was such a memorable episode for me. And I think, my other ones would have been probably like the I did like the one where Ultron won. I thought that was good. I mean, I liked my favorite point was when the Watcher went in DBZ mode and like fought back. Like, and also I was like, why the fuck didn't he help in the final episode though? Like, because he obviously could hold his own. It's fine though. But then also I think the murder mystery one too, I think still stands out. Like, it didn't have like crazy wide implications, but it was just a well told story within the means of like the time length and the animation and stuff. So.
Yeah, no, I pretty much echo a lot of what you said. I think from the beginning, even last time we talked about this, the time frame was a big issue with us. I'm trying to condense these, just like the other Disney Plus shows, these movie level ideas into, and this is the worst case, into 25 to 30-minute long episodes. To its advantage, they're always hitting ideas or key moments that we're very familiar with and kind of spinning them on its head. The only downside of that is sometimes you're getting more of just regurgitation of things you saw before, but slightly different. Kind of like the first Avenger episode being probably the most problematic one there. It feels like a direct retelling of the first movie, which is small changes. But no, I think the episode 4, which is the Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands, I think it's a standout episode. I think it was very emotional. Benedict Cumberbatch came in and actually did a good job with his acting. He's phenomenal in the way, of course, but he actually nailed the animation acting, which I think is different.
He did.
Yeah, and
he's done like Smog, right? So like he's done like he's done animation of a type at least.
Yeah, I really like the one you mentioned where we found out Hank Pym is the killer, like assassinating all the Avengers. And what was cool about that one, particularly for me, was that all took place during a thing called Fury's Big Week, which is basically Iron Man 2, Thor, and Incredible Hulk. And Cap's Awakening all happen within like 7 days of each other, which is kind of crazy. Right. In the MCU, it's a very monumental week, obviously. I love that. I love the Ultron stuff and the Watcher. I think it kind of added some stakes to what's going on and started kind of doing some connective tissue. Really enjoyed that. Stuff like the Killmonger episode with Tony Stark, I wasn't a fan of. And I mean, honestly,
I didn't love T'Challa's Star-Lord one, because I feel like with especially with like the Star-Lord one, it was just like, but what if we just swapped characters in a story you already know in a universe you're already familiar with? So I do feel like you hinted at that. It's just like I wish we had gotten more ambitious ideas that were just kind of completely detached from things we've seen or heard of or whatever. Like don't just be like, oh yeah, but what if T'Challa was Star-Lord, and then events happened very similarly, but also different to what you've seen. Yeah, and like that was the same with Peggy.
What this show reminds me of? I just thought of this. I've been thinking about this for a while, but it just dawned on me. Is that, do you remember those little like YouTube videos? Where basically it's like how it should have ended. You know those? Or
yeah. No, it's on it. I know exactly. It's a YouTube channel, like how it should. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the idea that I'm talking about, and this channel does it a lot, is like it basically it's the clip notes of a movie, but it's all condensed down, and then it feels like, oh, here's all these people and references that this movie had that you remember, and it's like like in the T'Challa episode you mentioned, like I mean everybody that's connected to the Guardians, whether it's Gamora, Thanos, the Collector. You know what I mean? Like all the Obsidian from like Infinity War, like all those Thanos henchmen, all of them are in that episode. It's like 25 characters in 25 minutes. I did enjoy it. I think it was fun, but it's just like, it's like, oh, we can do all these references because we have some of the voice cast. And I mean, you're right. It'd be so much better like Doctor Strange, where it's just this one moment being on repeat, but we're learning about this character. And like it's like we're going back to what we kind of said earlier.
It's like a one change where it's like, and I feel like it's a better example of one change changing things so drastically. Like he destroys the universe. You know what I mean? Like versus like T'Challa, and it's like, oh, but Thanos is good now. Like that's the difference.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it feels like a cartoon.
It feels like,
and then the Doctor Strange one feels like, oh, this is like an actual universe where like things matter and there's stakes, and exactly. It's like, and even the Hank Pym one, like that one felt like I that one to me is a little less. I dock it a little bit because I feel like the what if is like what if Hank Pym the real what if is like, what if Hank Pym's wife died on a mission with Shield or something, or like he blamed them for that, and I felt like that was a little bit weak for like why this started or why now the Avengers are dead. But still, it just felt like, oh, but this is like a change that changes everything we've ever would ever know about the universe, and it feels like real world implications again versus
Yeah. I mean,
cartoon.
I think there's something here about just because the MCU, I mean, it's got like almost 30 movies now or coming close to it. It still feels almost too small to be doing a animated what if show. Like it feels like whenever, like, when you're in the comics, you do a what if, you have so many more characters to play with, and you can, be a little more specific, right. Or, you don't have to have all these references to the MCU because that's what makes it cool. It's just these stories. I think that so many references makes it feel not infinite. It makes it feel very tiny. And
yeah, it feels like all the universes are pretty similar, actually, besides these like minor things. And I think, again, some of it was done as like the Thor episode is like an example where it's like, it's actually kind of funny. Like I thought Chris Hemsworth did very well as like this type of, and he's good with humor. I think Chris Hemsworth has really like great delivery with humor and stuff. And it was cool seeing Thor to go up against Captain Marvel, and even in the zombies episode to see, I guess, like, what was it? Where we got, there's another one where we got another like two of the most powerful superheroes up against each other. I guess maybe it was like
Scarlet
Vision
Witch
versus Scarlet Witch.
I don't remember, honestly.
I don't exactly. Who did she fight? I can't remember. Anyway, it just feels like a waste of potential, I think, in the end. It's like, if you're going to do this show, you're going to tell all these like crazy what if stories, like, I guess be a bit more ambitious with how crazy you get. Be a bit more like, let's reach even further into, like, this is the opportunity to reach into like the furthest of the furthest, like, darkest closet of the MCU and pull out just the craziest batshit stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's cool seeing the MCU with zombies, but not that cool. Zombies aren't that cool anymore, I guess. I don't like, they're not hot like they were.
I think the time frame really hurts it more than anything. Like, I mean, I personally really enjoy the idea of what if Ultron got his body. That's a great idea. I think it's fantastic. And
he got the Infinity Stones. I mean, I do think I saw some people complaining about how fast he took out Thanos, and I think maybe there's a little bit of argument there, because it's just like, well, Thanos already had 3 stones at that point. He had 1. I don't know, but it was still fun seeing him kind of like what his character path would have gone without Vision being there.
Do you think that question? What's going to happen, or how does this implicate further MCU like prime sacred timeline stuff? Anything?
I mean, again, it feels like the Watcher. I mean, Ultron died, was defeated.
We think,
Well, I mean, I guess the only thing that's kind of left is we have that whole like Killmonger and the Doctor from Hydra trapped in that bubble thing with Doctor Strange and his like destroyed universe, I guess.
Yeah.
Evil Doctor Strange, or, not evil Doctor Strange, but kind of dark Doctor Strange. I mean, like, again, the Watcher, I guess. I mean, he's the only one that would persist, theoretically, is in every other MCU universe. You know what I mean? So, like, and obviously with Kang, it feels like, I think the Watcher and Kang have some, like, crossover storylines in the comics, because they're just they're dealing in the same kind of powers of time and, universe, multiverse type stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, did I hear? I thought I heard from some or saw somewhere that they've already confirmed a season 2, or is that incorrect? They have.
They have. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's fun. It's content. I'll take it. It's fun to watch these. It's well animated. It's a pretty show. I'm not going to complain necessarily about getting it, but it's not. I wouldn't call it essential viewing either, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of my problem with it. I think ultimately is that I don't see myself, unless Katie just wanted to watch them, like, and because I've been watching them kind of solo actually. Unless she wanted to watch them, I probably won't ever watch them again. Like, it's just nothing that, like, because to me, part of it is that they're so finite moments, also that they don't have real implications on the MCU. That's almost like, well, I don't really need to know this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And also, I do wonder if I can see Captain Carter being in like Multiverse of Madness or something like that, or a Secret Wars crossover, something like that. But like almost like, well, that's a character that shows up and you see who it is and you see her wearing the uniform. You don't need to watch the cartoon to know exactly who she is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a thing where they can bring it over without prior viewing, you know?
And I do think that is where you might see some of these characters show up, is in like the final battle of the multiverse saga. Basically, I think that's very, very I mean, who knows? We could see freaking CGI T'Challa Star-Lord. I wouldn't be that surprised if we might see that.
Do you think
as like an homage to Chadwick Boseman?
I kind of feel like we're going to get like evil Benedict Cumberbatch, like evil Doctor Strange somewhere.
I mean, he could totally be in the Multiverse of Madness easily. Yeah. I mean, Doctor Strange movie. Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, and speaking of rewatching, I mean, I have a question for you. Like, what is your kind of ranking right now of the MCU Disney Plus TV shows?
I mean, at the bottom is What If, no question.
Yeah,
easily. Yeah. I mean, and then, oh, man, you know, I really liked the implications that Loki did. Like, I really like where it ended and kind of stuff, and I like where it began. I do feel like the format and all those kind of things, if I'm looking at it in this moment in time, how I'm saying this, it just kind of feels like it wasn't the show I thought we were going to get ultimately. And I feel like it wasn't as David Fincher, you know, like mystery, like investigative that I thought it was going to be. And so it's probably my least favorite ultimately, even though I love, you know, the end of it. And I love the beginning. I love Owen Wilson. There's a lot of great moments in it that were fun, but ultimately when it comes together and look at it, it doesn't seem like, I don't know. It's the bottom. I really loved, like, WandaVision was the ultimate water cooler thing. Like, I love those first few episodes. I love the meta-ness of it. I love the ending of it. There was Ralph Boner and some other things like the aerospace engineer that maybe we created, but some of those kind of things like really bum me out. And I feel like some of it wasn't as strong as the beginning, the end, like the final battle, like the conversation with Vision. And that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. I will watch that 30-second scene a lot forever.
Yeah. Yeah,
but it will be hard for me to kind of go through everything else. I'll have to say my favorite is Falcon, just for the fact that I like these characters the most that we're dealing with, even though it also has some really bad like story things in the middle of it. But I loved John Walker. I love the opening. I love the end of it when he's Captain America. Like, it does so many things I like that I wanted, that I like that the most. Like, I could see myself watching that one again more so than the others, because it feels probably like the most blockbustery movie one, like, you know, the most palatable. I will say that I think the best is yet to come, and its name is Hawkeye.
Yeah, I mean, we might get on our Die Hard homage, like the Die Hard MCU show, which like, and I mean, December is going to be a hot month for just entertainment. We've got Halo, we've got Hawkeye, we've got Spider-Man,
Matrix 4.
It's crazy. Like, December is going to be hopping. I think partly because coronavirus is pushing stuff out that's gotten bumped to that point and stuff like that. Anyway. No, I think that's a good ranking. I think for me, I think What If is at the bottom just because it just doesn't matter as much as the others, as so much we've seen. For me, coming in like third is going to be Hawkeye and Falcon. I think to me, the stories just felt messy. I think it had a good start. The first couple episodes, I think, were bangers and like really setting up like the emotional stakes and the kind of you know, the whole who's Captain America and the government choosing their own, that stuff was great. I think that part of the story, the whole like who's Captain America and, you know, excuse me, I can't remember his name, but U.S. agent basically, and like that part was great. I thought the Flag Smasher stuff just felt really flat for me, and just didn't care, and didn't like that whole culmination just didn't work for me. But
before you go
second,
on,
I
I think one thing that reason I might like the Falcon ones the most, it ties directly to our podcast also, is I think we had great conversation with Loki, great conversation with WandaVision, but I love talking to Joel about Falcon Winter Soldier. And I think like those conversations made me love it, like made me like it more. So anyway, go on.
No, that makes sense. I get that. I think so yeah, that was third. I think second for me is Loki. And I think almost like Loki and WandaVision, it's like this weird parallel. Like Loki started well and it ended like super well. The end, like the finale of Loki, the last 2 episodes, really, like the second half of the second, like the whole, like all the Lokis and stuff, the battle with the you know, doing the fake city, distracting the monster. Oh my God, that was perfect. Like, and like then the whole Kang thing, I think was great. I loved Kang's introduction. I think the middle was a bit lackluster and suffered, you know, just felt just like we're stretching ideas, trying to take up space, trying to make these episodes more episodes basically, or whatever. I just felt confusing at times. And I think, but I you know, going back to WandaVision, there's something that just is so watchable about that for me, because every episode is changing this drastically in art style and everything. I think WandaVision had the best kind of cliffhangers, and like you finished an episode and you were like craving the next one. Like it had this mystery you were trying to figure out the whole time. I thought they did really well with the mystery. Like I mean, Agatha's reveal, like, yeah, a lot of people saw it coming, but a lot of people didn't. And there's still a lot of mystery about who is Agatha or whatever all this is going on. And like, I just feel like that show, yes, I think the big problem is we got, whether we were baited to or whether we just did it ourselves, invested in some ideas that were not there. But I think if you watch the show without those expectations, I think that's probably the best show. Honestly, I think it flows the best. I think it's just like it has the most kind of shocking moments, like whether it is Ralph Boner's initial reveal or whether it's like those dialogue scenes between Agatha and Wanda, like, oh, you can raise the puppy from the dead, like just like like the boys growing up fast, like it just felt like that one was like just constantly, I didn't know what to expect, and it was always usually like every time it revealed, it was like, well, that's fucking awesome, you know what I mean? So
yeah, you could be changing my mind. I don't know. Like I mean, for a fact, I've seen besides What If, these other 3 shows we're talking about live action, I've seen every episode at least twice, sometimes 3 times. Like I've watched them a lot, like I would a movie.
And WandaVision I've only rewatched, but I only rewatched it like right before the finale. So I like rewatched again to the finale. So I haven't seen the finale, I think, more than once. But like, and I think rewatching it, that was one where I was picking up on so many more clues rewatching it. Like once you have the context of the later reveals, like you can rewatch it and be picking up on so much more in the beginning. And like that is really satisfying too. And I don't think any of the other shows really have that.
Yeah, you could be right. I don't know. Maybe I've seen it the longest to go, so maybe my
it's been a while.
Opinions on it are a little, you know, X, Y, and Z. But you know, I'm having a good time with all of them ultimately, even though they had their pitfalls. You know, what's really weird, I've only seen Shang-Chi once, and it's very upsetting to me. And it's a good movie. The thing is, you know, we raved about it. Like I really enjoyed it, but I also think like, you know, nothing in it just blew me away though. Like I really liked it, but nothing like, maybe I think honestly, I've been thinking about this a lot. I think Endgame ruined me for movies. Like I think Endgame, like it was such emotional, like it was such a big, like getting hit with so much fucking shit that like I'm basically like nothing can compete with it anymore. I've already peaked in life.
I do feel like the Infinity War Endgame moment, it's hard to imagine things being better than that. And Shang-Chi is amazing. And like I would like, and it's like it is rewatchable. It's a fun watch, but it isn't Infinity War Endgame. You know what I mean? It isn't an Avengers film with implications. Like it, and I think that's the thing of like, we are fans of these movies, but we're almost more fans of the universe now. And like, I think, you know, a lot of us, especially the super fans, we're more invested in this like overarching story than we are almost any individual movie anymore. Like
Yeah.
like individual movies are great, but they're not the overarching plan. Like this, 20 movie story that, like, now that we've had the first like taste of doing that well, we're like, that's all we want now almost. And so I think there is, but like that does mean like Spider-Man Far No Way Home and Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, those feel like more like overarching plot points than they do
Yeah.
individual stories. And though I think that's why there's so much hype for those, is because those are like drastically moving the plot forward in terms of what's going on in the wider universe. And so I think that's even, why I think the ending of Loki is so amazing, because it is like this, it's a giant landmark in the narrative. You know what I mean? Like there was a before and after Loki in every
Yeah.
universe, really. And like that's so cool. And like even the Wanda stuff, like I still think there's a potential that they go back and like not retcon, but be like, oh yeah, like there was some like, because they kind of waved off it being multiverse at the end. Like, it's not multiverse, it's just coincidence or whatever it was. And so it's like, I still think they may reach back there, because I mean, Wanda is like this, whatever the I can't remember the name of the being, like that's like transcends Nexus being, right? So like, we're just fans of like the universe, and I think we are craving that, because I think we've kind of experienced the best solo movies. I mean, like Captain America, Winter Soldier, and like Spider-Man: Homecoming, I think is amazing. Like even Black Panther, I think is incredible. Guardians 1, like we've kind of had these like amazing solo or kind of singular movie experiences that like we just want we're greedy now. We've kind of been spoiled. Like we're addicted to like the larger universe stuff.
We're like those people who get into like almost like a car accident, and they almost see like they're at the heaven's gate, and they're like seeing their lost loved ones, and all of a sudden someone like resuscitates them back, and they're back in the world. Like we just want to get back to the gates, like
yes, yeah. And so it's like it makes sense, and I think like that's why the MCU is what it is because they're telling these giant, decades-long stories. You know what I mean? And like that's never been done ever in movies, and so I think. We're kind of like Endgame, and again, it's like Endgame and Infinity War is like a drug, and now we're like detoxing until we get more of like the next big moment. And I think No Way Home seems like it's going to be that, and I think that's why the hype is just. I think the hype for No Way Home is going to be like, it feels like it's close to how we were feeling when we were going to like an Avengers movie. You know what I mean? Like what's going to happen in the next Avengers.
I think you're right. I mean, just even watching, like I was watching some scenes from Spidey 3 because it's Venom stuff, and just watching it, seeing Toby, seeing the suit, I was just like shaking my head, like, man, as much as I love Tom Holland, like they've never captured the feeling of this Spider-Man. Like, I can't even the filmmaking, like they just haven't done it yet. And I think like I can't wait for Toby to come back. I think you're right. Spider-Man. We have Doctor Strange, I think, in March, and then we have Thor 4 with the Guardians,
which is a Guardians times Thor movie. Yeah, and it feels like times
Lady
what's his
Thor,
name? Christian Bale.
Yeah, Gore the God Butcher and Lady Thor. It's going to be a big movie.
Yeah, and I feel like we're getting. I mean, who knows? There's going to be a point where like that's the majority of what we're getting, right? Because like, I mean, She-Hulk's getting introduced on Disney Plus. So is like Hawkeye's successor, which I'm assuming they will eventually make the jump, both of them, to the big screen. But like, and like, I mean, yes, I think the big introductions we still have are kind of the Fox acquisitions, and how are they going to do Fantastic Four? How are they going to do X-Men? How are they going to do Deadpool? You know what I mean? Like these big, those will kind of be like the next big, like we're introducing a brand new character. And I know we're getting Moon Knight, but like that's a Disney Plus. Like it feels like we're kind of getting to the point where like the MCU is more about team ups than it is about solos anymore. Like the biggest characters that the MCU has created, which is Captain America and Iron Man, like they're gone now. And now we kind of have more like teams of people more than we do have like individuals. I don't know. Like, and I think that's what we like, again, the audience are kind of craving. We're kind of craving these giant team ups,
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this to kind of wrap this up and put a bow on it. I think the thing I'm looking forward to next the most is not the Secret Wars Endgame level, is the first Avengers of this new group of people. Like, I want to see Shang-Chi, I want to see Doctor Strange and Sam Wilson, Captain America. I want to see all these people team up together. You know what I'm saying? First, before the universe ending event. You know, I want to see that first.
Now, I think for me, I think it's X-Men and it's Fantastic Four. I think bringing them in, because it feels like those are such giant characters in the comic universe and like pivotal to like lots of plots that we've already had in the MCU involved a lot of these characters in the comics that weren't there because they were Fox. And so I think getting Reed Richards, getting, Logan, getting Professor X, getting Magneto, like getting these giant players into the universe is just, I think, one of the most exciting things, because I feel like they expand it in really interesting ways.
I just want to see Giant Man throw Hulk, and then the Hulk throws Wolverine. That's all I want to see.
Yes.
The ultimate fastball special. That's what I mean. We almost had it, but with Spider-Man, I believe, being thrown.
In game.
But I need Hulk throwing the Wolverine. Next level shit with the claw.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely. I feel like it's been in like every Ultimate Alliance game, even, and like it's like a classic. Man. Yeah. It's almost as classic as like hitting the shield with the hammer. Like that team up move and stuff.
I will say what got me excited probably the most in What If was Thor and Doctor Strange team up move where he like multiplied the hammers. I was like, that was cool. Yeah, that was
awesome. Yeah. It was interesting when Doctor Strange also ate that like blast from Ultron or whatever he did. Like, that was what did he eat? Like a Mind Stone blast or something?
Yeah, he's got issues.
Yeah. It also kind of felt like that Doctor Strange is way more powerful than like normal one, because he's like dabbled in the dark arts, basically.
He's definitely more powerful. Yeah. Path to the dark side. Many abilities unnatural.
Yes.
Daniel, how can our readers write into
the abilities? They can write into bit.ly/241mail. There, let us know. Have you checked out the Halo Infinite beta? Did you like it? Because if you didn't, you're wrong. What did you think of the finale of What If? Did you think it lived up to your expectations? What are you hoping for season 2? And that's about it. So bit.ly/241mail. Let us know what you think, or just leave a comment below.
That's right. If you can't reach us at a bit.ly, you can always leave a comment in the comment section below. Again, youtube.com/241studios. The best place to consume the content. Give us a like and a subscribe. And of course, if you're on a podcast service, please leave us a review. Only 5 stars. Daniel, it was a pleasure talking about What If with you. I've seen No Time to Die. I hope you get to see it again soon, or hope you get to see it soon so we can talk about it, at least on some episode. I know we have Bruce coming on to a special Halloween breakdown of a film. And again, we're on the road to episode 100. We're getting close.
Indeed. Yes. Can't wait.
Yeah, I think we're almost exactly a month out from our 2-year anniversary of doing the podcast and the channel. So
it was November, right? Because it was when it first started. Another thing in December we're getting is Book of Fett. So I mean, man. December is like there's too much. There's maybe too much to cover in December. Like we have to pick and choose our battles. It'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Anyway, guys, my name is Donovan Thompson.
I'm Daniel Wingfield,
and we have spoken.